Ever since I was a baby, I've been running from everything I know. Don't you tell me about my trouble, 'cause nobody knows about my trouble. Nobody knows about my trouble, except for my baby and me.
Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. Why I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Bear with me because this is Michael Buckeye. So this is live, raw, and uncut sports talk on the old Man Hour. I clicked the intro, I clicked the wrong button, and then I restarted, and bada bing, bada boom. Who knows what we're doing right now? But guys, welcome to the Man Hour. This is Michael Buckeye. So you can find me on the old Twitter machine at manhour_buck. Be sure to follow us because that is where we get most of our content there. We get the would you rather, we get way or no way, factor crap, all this stuff right over there on the Man Hour Twitter page. So guys, we are here with you for about the next 30 to 45 minutes here on the afternoon show. Sorry about last night. My wife got home super late, and by the time I realized that it was time to do a show, it was already time to go to bed, right? So I deeply apologize for that. So I'm with you guys tonight, and we are going to give you the best sports show that I could possibly give you here solo dolo. So it looks like my internet is messing up just a little bit, so bear with it as it catches back up. We got, Disney playing in there. We got Netflix, and then of course, I'm sitting here watching porn. What? No, whatever, guys. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section. Check out the new and improved website over there. I'm working on it each and every day. Good things happening all over there, and we're currently hiring blog writers for all 32 NFL teams. We have about 10 covered right now. So if you are a NFL fan and you enjoy doing research about your team, writing about your team, and sharing content about your team, hit me up. You can hit me up on Twitter at manhour_buck, or slide into our DMs over on Facebook, facebook.com/manhoursports, and we will get to you and we'll talk about all the good stuff that is happening over there on the NFL side of the things. So today we got a couple topics that I'm going to be talking about. We're going to talk about Hue Jackson. Apparently he is a liar. Imagine that, right? We're going to talk a little bit about DeAndre Hopkins getting suspended for some PEDs. And then there was a question or a comment on one of our videos over the weekend about, is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer without the Super Bowl ring? So we'll be getting into that and much more right here on the Man Hour, guys. Like I said, we're here for about 30 to 45 minutes tonight. This is a live interactive show. So if you guys want to talk about something, jump over here in the chat at youtube.com/manhour. I got the chat pulled up, and we'll be pulling comments from that all freaking night. So without further ado, let's get the show started. So as you guys know, Hue Jackson used to be a football coach, right? He was a football coach for the Cleveland Browns for, 3 years, from 2016 to 2018, I believe it was. He was 3-36-1 as a head coach. So when the Mike Flores thing came out, right toward the end of the season, about how basically he wasn't getting hired because he's black and like all that stuff. If you guys are curious about that, I will link those clips down in the description below, post show here. But basically Hue Jackson said, you know what? The Cleveland Browns paid me to lose games as well. Well, the NFL did a 2-month, 60-day investigation, independent, not linked to the Cleveland Browns, not linked to Hue Jackson, not linked to the NFL. It was somebody, hey, we need you to take a look at this. And they did. 60 days worth, and nothing was found. Basically, Hue Jackson was a liar, what it come out to be. Basically, the independent investigator, the lawyers and all that stuff said, you know what? The Cleveland Browns did not pay you to lose. You're just a terrible coach. Like, let's just be honest. Being 36-1 over the 3 seasons that like you were there, not a very good thing there, Mr. Hue Jackson. So, and even then, if you were to pay to lose, why would they ultimately fire you the following season, right? But whatever, I digress from that. But flashback, Hue Jackson said he was paid $100,000 a loss during his tenure with the Cleveland Browns, and that has ultimately come out and be not true. So the question that I'm going to raise and start the mind spinning, right, and all that good stuff, does this put validity for the Brian Flores thing? Does this make Brian Flores look bad? Because Hue Jackson said, yeah, they did the same thing to me too. They were paying me to lose. They were paying me to do this, this, and this. And it turns out that wasn't true. So when Hue Jackson is piling on the Brian Flores lawsuit thing, and I think there were a couple others, right? Does this make him look bad? Yes. It absolutely 100% makes him look bad. This makes him look terrible because when your star pupil, right? Or, I mean, is it a star pupil? But like your right-hand man in this lawsuit found out to be lying about this situation. What do you think Brian Flores is doing now? Am I saying Brian Flores is a liar? I'm not saying that. I don't know the whole gist of the lawsuit by any means, but I do know that, you know, he interviewed for the Jets job, and Bill Belichick texted him saying congratulations on getting the job, and he meant to text the other Brian, like basically what it come down to in the end. But this definitely hurts the whole Brian Flores lawsuit, because the fact of, for one, he's still working with the NFL. He was hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers as a linebacker coach after being fired by Miami Dolphins as a head coach. So how can you be filing a lawsuit for your employer, right? I mean, obviously the suit isn't directed toward the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Pittsburgh Steelers ultimately work for the NFL. So by de facto, whatever, right? He's working for the NFL. So that hurts a lawsuit, number one. Number two, when Hue Jackson is a liar, that hurts your lawsuit as well. So, guys, let me know in the comments. I mean, like, obviously this lawsuit really got swept under the rug pretty quickly. So I don't even know if it's still a thing. I should have probably looked it up beforehand, but I don't even know if it's even a thing still. Like, if Brian Flores is still suing the NFL. Well, it was the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, and the Jets, and then plus the NFL, if I remember correctly, of the people that he was wanting to sue or lawsuit, or basically raise awareness, like, hey, I'm black and I'm not getting hired. I can't remember the exact name of what the lawsuit was, but obviously it was a lawsuit, right? So big things happening. Hue Jackson was to be found that he was not being paid to lose games by an independent investigator. And the NFL said, and I quote, "We appreciate the independent investigation led by Mary Jo White and the DeBosive team, which brings closure to these allegations that Hue Jackson publicly recanted shortly after they were made, and that they've all known along the category is false." The Browns said in a statement, "As we previously stated, we welcome this investigation because the integrity of our game is something that should not be taken lightly, and an independent review was crucial to bring the conclusion to the matter." So Hue Jackson's a liar. He recanted it, and bada bing, bada boom, by de facto, I think this whole Brian Flores thing just gets blown up as well. Anyways, other news in the NFL. This is kind of a bombshell, per se. This was kind of, because like when you think of DeAndre Hopkins, you think of a very straight and narrow individual. You think of an individual that does things right, besides sleeping with the coach's daughter in Houston, or the general managers, and get shit out of town. But we digress from that. But news came out today May 2nd. I believe it was right around 4 o'clock when I got the alert on my phone. But DeAndre Hopkins has been suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL PED policy. So obviously, guys, PEDs are performance-enhancing drugs, aka steroids, aka HGH, all that good stuff. Basically, putting a needle in your butt to recover and perform better on the field. The suspension comes 4 days after the Cardinals traded their first-round pick or the 2022 NFL draft for the Baltimore Ravens, Marquise Brown. So Hollywood Brown is obviously a Cardinal. If you guys did not know that, but now he has to be the focal point for the Arizona Cardinals for the first 6 games of the season. So this kind of raises concern to me a little bit because, as you guys know, DeAndre Hopkins missed the final 3 or 4 games last season with that nagging hamstring injury, which ultimately cost him the playoff berth. And it makes you wonder if his heart is really in Arizona. Because we know Kyler Murray wants a big deal or wants out. We're going to talk about that tomorrow with my man Wyatt Williams on the morning show. Should Kyler Murray get that deal, we will be talking about that. I'm really excited to have Wyatt back on the show. And then you get popped for PEDs. You lose six games. Also, DeAndre Hopkins only finished with 572 yards last season, eight touchdowns on 42 catches. After having a 1,500-yard season last season, or the previous season. DeAndre Hopkins, guys, is arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL. Now, I don't think you can even put him in the top 10 because he only had 500 yards last season on a PED performance season. How can you be taking PEDs and have the worst season of your career? Yes, I do know he missed 3 or 4 games and he had a nagging hamstring injury. I get it. But at the end of the day, you were taking PEDs to recover from that nagging injury and you still failed. The Arizona Cardinals did go 3-4 last season without Hopkins in the regular season, but they had a blowout loss in the playoffs, losing 34-11 to the Rams. So, wow. So, guys, DeAndre Hopkins is out for 6 games for PED use. This is a kind of a make or break year for the Arizona Cardinals. Anyways, Kyler Murray is in his 5th year. What's his face? Who's our head head coach? Cliff Kingsbury is in his 5th year coach. Like, guys, this is time to shit or get off the pot for the Arizona Cardinals, 100%. So we will see how the Arizona Cardinals adjust to bringing Hollywood Brown in, losing DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray just upset in the end. So we will see how that all comes into play. And quite frankly, I don't think it's going to end well for you Arizona Cardinals fans. I know we have a lot of Arizona Cardinals fans subscribed to this YouTube channel, and I always bring you guys hate. But at the end of the day, just saying. This link was just sent to me via Facebook, and this takes us to ESPN. I am reading this raw as we're right here on air, and the title of the article is Brian Flores lawyer argues against Roger Goodell arbitrating lawsuit versus NFL. Do we really want to get into this right now? I don't want to get into this right now, to be totally honest. Let's save this for tomorrow in the morning show. My man Wyatt Williams, the Wyatt Williams, is back on at 7 a.m. with Buck Nasty right here on Man Hour, youtube.com/Man Hours, where you can find all the good stuff. But before we wrap the show up tonight, before we wrap it up like your mom should have done to you. I was scrolling through our through our YouTube comments over the weekend. I had some time on my hands while the boys were napping and my concrete was drying for my basketball goal outside. So check this out, guys. I bought a basketball goal off of Amazon. It was like $500. You know, it is like one of those nice glass backboards and like adjustable from like 7 foot to 10 foot, right? They have you dig a hole like 24 inches down by 18 inches wide. That hole took 60 pounds of concrete to fill. 60 pounds of concrete. You guys know how much concrete is right now? A 20-pound bag of concrete right now is about $60. Yeah. There's $200 out the window for a basketball goal that's never going to be used. But hey, the honey wanted it, and you know what? We're gonna Facebook Live me taking her one-on-one. She was a beast. She was a college basketball player. Definitely could have went to the WNBA, but she chose not to. She chose to play volleyball. But hey, Buck Nasty's got it. My man Wyatt Williams is a shot caller too. So when Wyatt is back home, we'll go out there and shoot some goals. Anyways, back to my YouTube comment here. So like I said, I was scrolling through the old YouTubes, going through our comments, getting caught up on that stuff because we do get a lot of comments, and I try to answer and address each and every one and have a rational conversation with the people that are over there. But this particular person said that Matthew Stafford is now a Hall of Famer with the Super Bowl ring. If he wouldn't have won a Super Bowl with the Rams this year, he would not be in the Hall of Fame. So I got to sit there and I got to thinking. Now, we all know how myself and Beastie feel about Matthew Stafford. We feel that he was probably the most underrated quarterback in the all of NFL the time he was in Detroit. He was, he was consistently being overlooked and just getting the crap beat out of him. And he did have Calvin Johnson, and he had a little bit of running game for like a year, but I think he made it to the playoffs 3 times, never won a playoff game. Never had an MVP season, none of that stuff, but he was consistently 3,000 yards, 3,500 yards, like 10 or 12 interceptions, just doing good things over there in Detroit. So I got to sit there and I got to think, oh, what's up, Drew? I see you. When we think of Matthew Stafford, do we think of Hall of Famer right off the bat? No, we do not. Because he has been overlooked for so long. And when push comes to shove, we're going to look at his stats. And his stats are just going to be mediocre. Just because now with the passing games that we have, it is not going to be uncommon for quarterbacks to have 5,000 yards every season. Hell, Lamar Jackson is probably going to get 4,500 yards this season alone, even though he's upset that Hollywood Brown is now in Arizona. But we digress from that. We'll talk about that in the morning with my man Wyatt. So, Drew, let me ask you this question. Is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer? And when I sit back and I ponder thoughts, and I was looking through the stats and looking through the highlights and watching some old games of his, no. Guys, Matthew Stafford is not a Hall of Famer. The only reason why he is being considered in the same talk as a Hall of Famer right now is because of the fact that he does have a Super Bowl ring. That's the only reason why. Does that ultimately put him in the Hall of Fame? No. He would have to win another one probably, because for whatever reason, when we look at Hall of Fame stats, when people have 2 Super Bowl rings, they're almost guaranteed a spot in the Hall of Fame. I believe there's only one quarterback that has 2 Super Bowl rings that is not in the Hall of Fame. The name slipped in my mind, but we did a segment last year on that, when if old Eli Manning should be in the Hall of Fame, and we're like, yeah, he has 2 Super Bowl rings, put him in. It is almost guaranteed. Drew says, what is his stats? Let me pull up his stats here for you, Drew. Let's go to Pro Football Reference. Matthew Stafford stats. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so his career started in 2009, right? So his first season, he had 2,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, a QBR ranking of 61%. 2010, 535 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 91.3%. He must have been hurt that year. 2011, 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 92 QBR. That was by far his best season. So his third season in the league was by far his best. He had 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. That was 2011 with the Detroit Lions. And then we see a steadily decline from 2012 for 4,900 yards. 2013 he had 4,600 yards. 2014 he had 4,200 yards. 15, 4,200 yards. 16, 4,200 yards. 17 he had 4,500 yards. 18, 3,800 yards. 2019 was by far his worst season ever since his rookie season with 2,400 yards. His last year with the Lions in 2020, he had 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And then last year with the Rams, he had 4,800 yards, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. So besides that one 5,000 yard season and then the 2019 season, 2018 season, he had 25 to 3,500 yards. He's hovering right around 4,200 yards a season with just over 25 touchdowns. Actually, it'd be about 32 touchdowns per season, give or average, because we have a couple of those outliers of 41s that really bump him up. But basically, he is from the 24 to 29 range as far as touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So he is a staple of consistency, right? You're going to get 4,500 yards out of him, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with a QBR ranking of about 80. So when we look at that, I mean, the consistency is there, but the wins on the field is not there. His stats last season, Drew, were 4,800 yards, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, with his highest QBR ranking ever of 102.9. However, I think, for some reason, I think the QBR rankings changed like 2018, 2019 to really bump those stats up. Because before it used to be on a scale of like 100, and now it's like a scale like 129 or something crazy just like that. But I don't think he is a Hall of Famer. To be flat out honest, I do not think he is a Hall of Famer. So if you guys are curious, let me know. Do you think Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer? I'm going to go with no on this one. I don't think he is a Hall of Famer whatsoever. So guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap up the show here. We've been going on for a little over a half hour here on the evening show. We're going about 30 to 45 minutes until July, I think it is. I think July is when Combs comes back. Drew says that proves how bad the Lions are/were. Or Drew, or does that tell you how good the NFC North has been since Matthew Stafford has been in the NFL? Because if you look at since he entered in the league in 2009, right? The Packers have always been a staple in the NFC North, right? The Chicago Bears went to the Super Bowl in 2013, 2014, I think it was, or something. Maybe it's 2012. And then the Vikings, they're always a 500 team. The Vikings are never good, but they're never bad either. So does that prove to you how bad they were, or just how good the NFC North was? Maybe we'll have Luke G on tomorrow and talk about it. Drew says 2 more seasons like last year or better, he'll be a Hall of Fame material. We'll see. Because right now his career is 50,000 yards, 323 touchdowns, 161 interception with the QBR ranking of 91.1. I think when you look at a Hall of Famer, you are not looking at a mediocre quarterback. Now his stats are good. Don't get it twisted. 4,200 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Not bad, right? But you have to translate those into wins. How many wins did he have as a player? Not very many. He was actually a 500 player before he left the Lions. 0-3 in the playoffs. Now he is a 500 player in the playoffs as well with a Super Bowl ring. Drew says that's because the Lions were holding him back. His second year was the year he was recovering from a dislocated shoulder, remember? I thought he played through that. Or was that his rookie year when he dislocated it and they popped it back in and he went in the next play and we scored the game-winning touchdown? I can't remember. I'm not a huge Lions fan. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. East Coast time. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Wyatt Williams. The Wyatt Williams makes his epic return back to Man Hour. Gonna be a great time. Great time show on the Man Hour, guys. See you tomorrow morning. Bye.